when you're done with the paint, the first thing you want to do is you want to try to keep this lip clean the best you can while you're painting. I know that's kind of a pain to do. You'll see sometimes that people will recommend punching holes in here, but I've found in my experience that the paints are too thick, right? And they're just going to dry and fill in the hole. So it'd have to be a pretty big hole for it to run out. So just try to keep it clean. If you're using, like in this place, I'm going to use like 4 or 5 gallons of this. So I have one can that's in really good shape, right? So I keep it nice and clean, and I use the other cans to do the painting, and then I'll use a clean can to do the stirring, okay? So you want to take your lid, put it on the top, and then I'll put a rag over the top of it, and then I will pound it down. Now I'm not going to pound it down, I'm on a piece of furniture here, so I don't want to pound on top of that. So don't pound it on your hardwood floors, and don't pound it on your tile. Okay, take it outside, or make sure you've got a concrete, nice hard floor that you can't hurt. Okay, and then pound it on really well. Now you'll notice that I've labeled the can. This is LR means living room and dining room, DR means dining room, and I put today's date on it. I did the same thing for the top. There's also a color. This is HC 173 from Benjamin Moore, and there's a label here which tells me when I purchased it and what the color is. And you want to make sure that you label it like this. You'd be surprised how many times I walk into a house and I'll go out to their garage or in their basement, and there'll be 20 gallons of paint and nothing is marked. So make sure you mark everything. I'm also going to talk about painting creating a paint schedule for you guys. But for the cans, mark them. This, I mark it on the side in case you store it on a shelf, and then on the top in case you store it on the floor. That way I can see it when I'm standing over the top of it, of course. When you go to store it, make sure you store it in a place that cannot freeze. Freezing is not good for latex paints, okay? You don't want it to freeze, so keep it in a warm environment. And if you're gonna store oil-based paints, make sure you keep them about 10 to 15 feet away from any kind of heat source, like your main central heating or a water heater, okay? So keep your oil-based paints away from there, all right? Now, when you go to pull this back out, and let's say you're gonna use it in a couple years to touch up the wall, couple things to keep in mind. Pull it out of wherever you're storing it and bring it into the room that you're going to paint and let it sit for about 2 days. Let it acclimate, okay? And the other thing you want to do is stir it up really, really well. Most people have problems when they go to touch up because they didn't stir the paint well enough and the pigment is settled to the bottom. And so that means that the paint on the top is going to be a little bit lighter. So when you go to paint the wall, it's not going to match exactly.